Hello everyone, and welcome back to our story on Euclidean geometry. I'm excited now to be introducing another lovely concept and theorem to you. We have actually, in the previous two videos, looked at a conceptual understanding of this when we discussed angles in the same segment and also angles on opposite segments. Now, what I've got for you here is what we call a cyclic quadrilateral. Now, what is a cyclic quadrilateral? A cyclic quadrilateral is a quadrilateral which has got vertices or points lying on the circumference of the circle. That is the easiest simple definition that you've got to understand for now. All the 4 points lie on the circumference. There's point A right on the circumference of the circle, point B also on the circumference, point C on the circumference, and point D on the circumference. And what I've done, of course, when I set this up, I just drew a circle and drew these lines, and then drew the points, joined the lines, and measured the angles. Here's one thing interesting from the previous theorem that we have discussed. If you were to add angle alpha here with angle beta, so in other words, the green angle and the purple one, so you will notice something quite interesting. Of course, you will have seen this from my previous video. So alpha plus beta, guess what? 180 degrees. Now delta, not equal to, delta plus gamma is also, the sum there is also 180 degrees. This is very interesting, guys. Well, of course, you saw where it comes from. So the first fact, or the first theorem that I want to introduce to you related to cyclic quadrilaterals. This will be, of course, a theorem 4 if you take into account the previous that we have discussed so far. And this theorem basically says opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. That's all it says. So this angle here plus that angle should be 180. That angle plus that angle should be 180. Now, guys, sometimes they will not state it in a question, but know one thing. If they say in diagrams, in the diagram below or in diagram A or diagram C, A, B, C, D, or P, Q, R, S is a cyclic quad, know that you have every right to deduce, to conclude that opposite angles in that cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. For the remainder of the video, all I'm going to do is to play around as usual so that we can have our fun. You know, for me, mathematics means fun time, and I hope that is becoming the meaning for you too. So let's go ahead and see the different cases of a cyclic quad. Check this out. If I move angle A such that it is that close, this does not change the fact that delta and gamma are still opposite angles. I need you to get this in your mind. And this is what examiners do to try and catch you guys. They just put different scenarios. Look at this case here. Quite narrow, but this remains a cyclic quad. Check this out. That is still a cyclic quad. And you must be careful to see that angle B, or angle alpha in this case, it is still supplementary. The sum thereof, the sum of alpha and beta, still supplementary. They should still give you 180. Even if I was to do this, fact remains ABCD is still a cyclic quad. So I can play around. Check what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do something a bit crazy. And of course, this is as usual to usher you into the next theorem that I'm going to discuss with you. As usual, that's how I end my discussion. So actually what I've done here, I've flipped things a little bit around, and I hope you can see where that comes from. Check this out. Here what you've got to really think around and be careful of is to see that our angle is actually now the reflex angle. So you've got to consider kind of this angle inside the circle. So that's what, of course, I did when I flipped the stuff over. Now I'm just bringing them back But the bottom line, guys, is doesn't matter how ugly, how well nice, how unsymmetric the quadrilateral might look. Fact is, opposite angles, doesn't matter the position, will always be supplementary. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope you will have some fun whenever you encounter a cyclic quads. Next video, we move on. Still on cyclic quads, but to another interesting concept. Stay tuned. Cheers, guys.